Bonjour friends, good evening everyone. Welcome to this new episode of Intimate Conversation with Ilanit. I'm really happy to see you here tonight. It does feel like it's been more than a week. It really feels like it is a month. And obviously, I don't know for you, but I just feel this week was quietly intense energetically, and it did inspire, the topic of tonight and the things that I experienced myself and that was reinforced, and the different teaching that I felt, was really appropriate in regard of a moment like this where we feel so crushed, where we feel there is a pressure happening and we want to control what's happening, but then we realize we cannot control what is happening. So good evening again. Let me just remind you a little bit about me. My name is Ilanit Friedman, and for over 25 years, I've been offering my services as a mindful and intuitive life coach. As you can tell from the accent, I am coming from France and came to Florida more than 22 years ago right now, and following an offer as a job as a teacher, since it was my initial background, teaching and also human sciences. But eventually, what had started as a teenager, my spiritual life journey and this natural ability to be empathic to the people that I would meet and receive guidance and intuitive messages became more and more the prominent part of my life. But at heart, I'm definitely a teacher. I'm not only here giving readings, but I'm here teaching spiritual wisdom, also helping people understand that spirituality is not just something that is in the back of our mind or something that we think it's metaphysical and interesting. Is really at the reach of everyone to have a life that is more mindful, more connected. And as we do and as we learn, there's so much wisdom, so much understanding. Each and everyone can start develop their own relationship with their higher self, the divine light, and start noticing, things that they would have assumed was only available for people that are spiritually more developed, awakened, gifted, which is not the truth. And this is really the message. And beyond that, I say because of my background, for those that have been following me, you might have heard it before, but for those that haven't, I come from a very classical Orthodox Jewish family with a father that was a rabbi as I grew up. And this really became the mix of the two to realize that you can have a classic connection with God and a tradition and a feeling that yes, there is the divine that is available, but much more respected, like something that is not always accessible, but something that we strive to, and that maybe once we cross, maybe we suddenly see the face of the divine with much more the universal message of the divine that God resides within us, and that we can have those moments of connection and establish a connection to really receive guidance, whatever we need, whenever we need, to help us solve the riddles of life. So just to remind everybody, so from whatever place that you are coming from, you are more than welcome to click on the link to log in. You can come from participating to the topic, but also to receive free intuitive guidance, reading, using different tools to be able, to create a space where we can receive messages and on specific topic or just in general, just to know, okay, where we at in our spiritual growth and what we need to focus on. So the other possibility for people that are more shy, that don't want to come live, and I know many of those, is just to send messages via the chat, which will come in the studio. However, there is certain limitation with StreamYard. What we started to understand, if you send a message via any profile, whether my profile, personal profile, Joseph or Kristen, it will not come in the studio, only if you log from a professional page. So that's why I advise you, to try to play around with this. We've been streaming this show in all our platforms, and like I say, it's really a teamwork of selfless sharing. Just to be here for the community, and of course for people that want then to work with us on a private note. All our information are available. So welcome again. Hope you stick around to talk about this topic that I have in mind tonight, which is the idea of letting go. So let me just tell you a little bit why I decided to talk about this. Like I say, it was only a week ago that I came live, and it really felt like a month, because during that week, I had my 2 teenager girls that got sick. And as a mom, for you can imagine, you just try to be present, knowing that there's so much you can do, and creating a lot of stress to hope your children get well very quickly, and you attend to what you need to do to make sure this happens. But few days after they were sick and started to get better, then it was me and my youngest daughter that got sick. And I just have to say, not being sick for more than a year and a half, because this has been probably what a lot of people have been experiencing when we've been keeping all the social distancing and putting masks, is then suddenly, we are not maybe as much prone to cold, So to get sick suddenly, it's kind of a wake-up call to say, wow, this can be intense. So I cannot imagine people that had to go through, stronger viruses. But what was for me really interesting, being sick at the same time as my daughter, first of all, it gave me the opportunity and the insight to know step by step what she was going through and what needed to be done. And doing it for myself, you realize one of the main things, is that you have to surrender. That a cold, like many things in life, and this is just like a metaphor, there is a process in life. And sometimes we fight because we want to have control over it, but all what we need to do is to surrender. So because I always like to set an intention, to decide what we can get from today's teaching, I would like each one of you that are watching, either now or in the future, just to sit comfortably, relax, take a deep breath in, and exhale out. And I would like you to repeat after me. I surrender and let go. I am flexible and in the flow. Very well. And so this is the thing. In life, sometimes we are in those situations. What aggravates us is we want to be able to get to the finish line, not today, but yesterday. And we feel we want to control every step of the way. But sometimes all what we need to do is to accept that there is a process and that we need to surrender to it. If not, what many times happens, we're going to find ourselves in a place of high stress because we have fear, we have anguish, we want to control the situation, and eventually it creates really even more intense situation where what we will need and more even challenges that we started with. When it came to a cold, for example, and I would like to explain, what is happening when you are in a situation where there is a challenge in life and how there is a connection between the body, the mind, and the soul. What is happening, for example, and what I was realizing as I was sick, if I was to stress, what will happen in my body, which is happening any stress that we go through. So let me read a little bit about the process here. When we are stressed, we activate a body's response, a chemical response. We start producing cortisol from the adrenal gland. And if we are stressed for what people call no reason, it's not like a stress that is a danger. We constantly are in this space in our body that our adrenal overwork, creating more and more cortisol, which can create in the long run adrenal fatigue, which is just the first step. When then we are in this stress, what's happening into our body, we lose the ability for the body to metabolize and detox, and we have a toxic load. Physically talking, this is the source of what then we may have brain fog, where we have palpitation, where we cannot think straight and we have really nervous things happening into our body. This is also the time that we develop more craving on fat, on sugar, and in the case of a cold, this is diminish the ability for the body to heal himself because he's busy with another type of stress that is not legitimate. Okay, so the key is to surrender, is to sleep when you're sick or to meditate when you are just under stress, is to learn to drink and to be in the moment and to nourish your body at the level of the mind, the spirit, and the body, that what will create more balance. And this reminded me, as I was writing all the things, was really reminding me of the story of my best friend that many, many years ago, she told me how she got caught into a current and really was about to drown, and she was fighting, and she got caught in a current that was close to a reef, and was really worried to get crushed onto those rocks. And she told me she was fighting, and the more she was fighting, she saw she was going adrift until she decided to surrender. And eventually, the wave carried her back to shore. And this is really a good metaphor for our lives, how we sometimes fight so much that we can cause even more struggles and cause even more risk than being at safety when we allowed ourselves to surrender. So I just would like to say hello to everyone that is here tonight. I see some light from Lydia. Good evening, Lydia. Welcome. You can send a message if you're here, and if you wish a reading, you can put a comment. I would like to say good evening to Caroline. Good evening, Caroline. Sam, LV is here, and Monday, Nicholas. Nice to meet you. Those are very new names. So if you want to share with me where you're coming from, that would be wonderful. Whoever want to come for a reading, you are more than welcome. And whoever is there, welcome here tonight. So what's happening, really when we go through a stressful situation, okay? And in general, I will say, we need to realize that situations many times are only a trigger to put us in a situation of asking, what is the real cause of my stress? What is this situation triggering inside of me? What emotion that might exist from the longest time from my childhood or sometimes another lifetime that is activated with this situation? because we need to remember that situation, like people, are only here to shed light into those emotion that we are here to understand and let go of. It's like investigating what are the fear, what are the feeling, and to surrender, because this is the only time that we can really set ourselves free into it. Uh, Another thing that for myself I realized that when there is a situation that is can be very stressful and trigger this emotion, many times when I really don't know what to do, how I can solve it, I need to take myself away from the situation. One of my teacher will always says, when you are lost and you realize that you cannot control and you want to involve, higher power that's gonna show you the light, get out of the way, go out of yourself. What does it mean, go out of yourself? Instead of being in a position of wanted to receive, go out and share. And for me, definitely, doing what I do, this is where I finally recharge, by going out, by trying to find something that I can do, an act of sharing or going live. And that's why sometimes I will come, unexpectedly, just to do something that fill me with joy and get me out of my own self. So as it says, get out of the way, go share, and let the light be the one that's going to provide you with the answer and take care of the business when you are letting yourself out of the picture. So I would have loved, to see some of you, commenting. And like I said, I did felt I had mentioned earlier this evening to Joseph, listen, I feel tonight, and this whole week is kind of energy is very different. But I'm going to go live and do what I do. And whether there will be someone coming or not coming, just to put the energy out there, because maybe nobody's going to come and have it right now, but it would be available. And this is what we need to remember. Energy never gets lost. So when we share out there, this energy will eventually ripple back to us in some way, and will continue to reach out and create hopefully a ripple effect into the world, and come back to us wherever it's gonna affect. So yes, tonight it's a night that seems to be a little bit heavier. Here in Florida, this is all rainy season, and we do notice that it makes us feel different. The energy is different. But so what I will do maybe, it's just to pick a card for setting the tone of energy for this week. So whoever will read or listen to these videos, maybe to have a message that will uplift the spirit and give some homework where to look and what to do. So I'm going to do this deck. So this card connects us to the first chakra, the root chakra, the energy red. Wow, interesting, because I was really feeling this is what I wanted to connect myself to be rooted, to know that even if sometimes in life things seems out of our control or we're not sure where it's going, to know that as long as we remain grounded into the earth, there is a process. We'll be here. We're not going anywhere. We'll be supported. And this is the message, to remember that Mother Earth, divine light, is there for us, want to guide us, want to protect us. And all what we need to do is to remain rooted into our soul, to connect to wisdom, to find our tribe, to find our practice that will allow us to always know that we are not lost into the wilderness, and that there is always light into at the end of the tunnel. So I want to wish all the people that have been coming a beautiful evening. For the one that will get to come across this video, if it was your first time, you are welcome to join my page at I See by Ilanit, Intuitive Counseling, and also the idea of seeing life through a mindful eye, full of teaching, either through the messages that I'm channeling on a regular basis and sharing on my page, but also the possibility to work on one-on-one for the soul direction, also cleansing and chakra healing. So I want to thank you all for coming. I hope you have a beautiful night, and hopefully I'll see you next Tuesday at 8 p.m. on YouTube, on Facebook, and the coming back of our dear friends as well, Joseph and Kristen next week at their regular time. I'm going to leave you now. Wish you a good night with love and light always. And I'll see you soon.